Alrighty then, this is me talking to you about this thing. How to upgrade the king of all brain regions and how it destroys depression. So, a weak prefrontal cortex can result in depression. As we evolve from our prehistoric Neanderthal form to our modern human form, one particular part of the brain is risen into prominence. Known as the brain's overall thought orchestrator, CEO, emotional control center, the prefrontal cortex is pinpointed as perhaps the clearest dividing line between ancient man and modern man. And this brain region is super important for depression sufferers. A study published in one of the world's leading medical journals, the Lancet, tested the brains of 17 clinically depressed patients. And what did they find? Dun, dun, dun. Kind of like the skinny leg guy at the gym who only trains his upper body and never his lower body, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? The depressed subjects. Emotional regulating prefrontal cortex were remarkably underdeveloped as compared to the rest of the brain. Imagine if you could upgrade this particular brain region and, in essence, make an evolutionary quantum leap. And you can through hypnosis and meditation. Now, how does meditation build up the prefrontal cortex? A landmark study by Harvard neuroscientist Dr. Sarah Lazar showed that the brains of meditators had remarkably more prefrontal cortex gray matter thickness, with degree directly linked to the level of meditation experience. In other words, the more you practice meditation, the stronger and better your prefrontal cortex, or the greater your emotional well-being and balance. Just one of the many studies illustrating the same thing. Researchers continually find meditators to be the smartest, happiest, and healthiest people. If you want to rewire your brain for happiness while permanently unshackling the change of depression, meditation is your key. Now, another section here, how doctors treat depression with meditative brainwaves. Now, your insurance is probably not going to pay for this because it actually works. So, anyway, depression lives in your brainwave patterns. Day and night, your whole brain fires directly measurable electrical signals, which combined form what are called, when combined, the form is what we call brainwave patterns. Everything is about us, from our emotional state to our mood to our thoughts. It's all directly reflected in our brainwave patterns. Now, what if it was possible to upgrade this so-called depressed brainwave pattern to the healthiest and happiest and most mentally balanced state? Well, you can. Let's take a look at some of the depression-specific brainwave data first, though. In 1991, Biofeedback Institute monitored 14 clinically depressed alcoholics as they were given experimental alpha and theta brainwave therapy over the course of 20 sessions. To measure their result, each participant took a Beck Depression Inventory score before and after the experiment. Amazingly, the participants reduced their depression scores by a whopping 80%, 80%. In addition, at the 2-year follow-up, the results held firm while relapse was minuscule. If alpha and theta brainwaves are so beneficial, how do we boost them without expensive biofeedback therapy? Go on YouTube and find a binaural beat. Yeah. All right, how meditation creates alpha and theta brainwaves. Well, they don't create them. They bring your brainwaves to the alpha and theta state. One of the countless reasons neuroscientists love studying their magnificent brains, meditation heavily increases both theta and alpha brainwaves. These are the brainwaves of meditation, you could say. beginning meditation. The secret of these super advanced, highly focused, well-balanced, depression-free brainwave patterns, meditation has been creating the healthiest of brains since the dawn of time. Sitting on a mountain of evidence when it comes to eradicating depression once and for all, the neuroscientific community has emphatically confirmed that meditation is the best way to do so. That's right. Neuroscientific community has emphatically confirmed that meditation is the best way to destroy depression once and for all. Write that down. The psychology of depression. How the depressed mind works. When we get stuck in a mental rut, like a howitzer, negative thoughts fire one after the other. I'm not good enough. I make too many mistakes. I'm such a bad person. I suck. I'm fat. I'm an asshole. I'm this. I'm that. Look at me. I suck. Like kindling on a wildfire, this kind of relentless thinking fuels bad moods, spreading to all of the areas of the mind, keeping anyone locked into a seemingly perpetual state of hopelessness. In fact, scientists estimate the number of human thoughts at over 50,000 per day, meaning that a depressed mind can generate dozens of pessimistic thoughts per minute. So while we all succumb to the thoughts of no hope from time to time, the difference in the depressed mind's sheer volume and level of bombardment is truly paralyzing. So, luckily, meditation fixes all of that shit. The importance of the present moment. Edgar Tolle, his book. Go take a look. The power of now. When we regret the past and fear the future, what happens? We lose the present. And so, with today's joy sucked away, depression is right there to fill the void. Meditation opens your eyes to the beautiful moment-to-moment unfolding life, while unlocking the whole new world of stimulus. In this way, meditation makes even the most mundane existence feel fresh and alive, melting away depression in no time. Meditation works by quieting down the worrywart conscious mind and bringing the far more powerful present moment subconscious mind to the surface. When we realize that our hopeless thoughts are actually not reality, that they're just secretions of the tip of the iceberg conscious mind, then we stop fixating on them. Go check out my video on the subconscious and unconscious mind. When we use the deep mind to take the step back from the conscious mind, not only do our negative thoughts become less frequent, but they lose their power to control us. And so, instead of the negative thoughts spiraling out of control, digging deeper and darker hole, meditation ends it right then and right there. Depression is destroyed. How meditation makes you a master depression-fixing mind machine. Our emotional peaks and troughs come not from the roller coaster of the events that happens in our lives or our ups and downs, come from our interpretation of what we experience. In other words, we all have a choice in how we react to every situation, positive, negative, neutral, right? This goes beyond simply seeing the glass half empty or half full. Meditation allows you to understand at the deepest of levels how your thoughts, your mind, and emotions are intertwined and just how much control we have over reality. That's right, control your reality. Meditation! Now, this opens the door to an advanced mental awareness where we never get too high or too low, forever maintaining a well-balanced, calm, clear, and focused state of mind. The result is a bulletproof brain impervious to depression. I wouldn't say bulletproof. I don't want you checking that out, trying that out. Then don't do the bulletproof thing. No test. Okay. It's impervious to depression. Let's just say that. Okay. Whether it's not enough money, not enough love, or not enough happiness, many of us in the modern society feel incomplete. From acquiring material things, or a better house, a better car, better clothes, that watch, that phone, right? To relationship hopping, when we seek out temporary fixes to fill in this gap. The thing is, looking outside of yourself for what is, in essence, the inner void, only leaves us stranded forever, spinning our wheels out of control. You keep trying to fill that void in your soul with material things that could never fill that void. It's a Band-Aid for a sucking chest wound. You can never fill that void. And a lot of times you'll have buyer's remorse after you purchase the item, but you're too proud to take it back to the store. So, in this war that cannot be won, we disconnect, we feel jaded, we develop bad habits, we sleep too much or too little, we become disinterested in life, and eventually we just give up, and depression takes it from there. Luckily, there's a perfect solution. By tapping into our vast inner divinity, that wonderfully sacred space in each and every one of us, meditation is perhaps the only true way to regain your spiritual wholeness. Go see my other videos on self-love. How Katy Perry found meditation and beat depression. Even the large names can be extremely depressed. Right? This is not a poor man's dis-ease. We all know the lore. The meditating monk who gives up all for life of simplicity. With nothing, he finds true and lasting happiness, while those of us in modern society are unlikely to go the route of the monk, which means to give it all up for the life in the monastery. Meditation most certainly can change us in a way that ends our mindless pursuit of that which can only be found within. So, armed with this kind of inner peace, depression simply just can't exist. The happy hippocampus and how it helps decimate depression. 1 in 15 people suffering major depressive disorder at any given time. There is no shortage of people ready and willing to put their brain under the microscope in the hopes for a cure. Thankfully, with journal after journal of promising insight into the so-called depressed brain, neuroscientists understand this ugly mental health issue moving parts better than ever. The landmark Washington University School of Medicine study MRI imagery imaged the brains of 48 women, half of which were suffering from major clinical depression. Versus the control group, the hippocampi of the depressed patients had atrophied significantly, with a clear link between number of years depressed and the degree of the shrinkage of the hippocampus. To illustrate the findings, when we break our leg, its size and strength slowly dwindle as inside of our orthopedic cast. When depression has us on the ropes, the brain's hippocampus slowly wastes away inside our brain. Meditation changes the brain, and it exterminates depression. So, if I want to lift myself out of depression and prevent it in the future, I need to strengthen my hippocampus. Okay? But my gym doesn't have that hippocampus machine in it. Which one is that? It doesn't show which one. So, save yourself the trip to the gym. Meditation is your ACE certified hippocampus personal trainer. A 2008 study published in the Neuroimage Journal found that after 8 weeks of meditation, the left and right hippocampi of participants has significantly grown in neural thickness, density, and overall size. This finding meant that adding meditation to your daily routine can, in essence, reverse depression's dirty wheel no matter how deeply your tires are dug in, with a bulletproofing your brain for future attacks against depression. and mostly everything else. Go check out my other videos. That'll explain that. There's a 45-minute one done in January. So, with the headlines of The Independent's How the Beatles' Meditation Technique Could Cure Depression, albeit many years ago, and nobody apparently paid attention to that article, because we're still all depressed, aren't we, America? Yes. Now, it appears that meditation's uncanny ability to lift us out of the doldrums is slowly entering mainstream consciousness. As John Lennon's famous lyrics eloquently put, imagine all the people living for today. Indeed, a world full of depression-free meditators would certainly grant the legendary Beatle his wish, and probably the rest of the world as well. The power of serotonin and neopinephrine. Between the wonderfully complex brain's billions of neurons are an internet-like group of chemical messengers known as neurotransmitters. For the depression sufferer, there are two critical need-to-know neurotransmitters, which is serotonin and neopinephrine. When levels of these two highly important brain chemicals for them get low, we feel an overwhelming sense of sadness and consequently become depressed. If we're taking an antidepressant, these two critical communicators are the likely target. But with an array of side effects, paradoxically, suicide just happens to be one of those, right? Dependency or general ineffectiveness, or no more effective than a placebo. Antidepressants aren't really ideal. Thankfully, there's an ultra-powerful, time-tested, all-natural solution that's been around longer than science has. As countless studies show, including a highly esteemed University of Montreal research team, with meditation you can boost both your serotonin and neopinephrine to healthy depression-resistant levels naturally. In effect, meditation's freshly drafted serotonin army will quickly neutralize any depression linked to enemy combatants occupying your brain, while making it a powerful fortress against any future invader. In other words, meditation creates a sort of neurochemical utopia where depression simply cannot survive. While the antidepressants are great for temporary happiness, if you want true and permanent happiness, meditation is the key. This is 9elementsministry.com. Check me out, right? That's what the channel is about, in addition to having science and spirituality integrated, which is why I'm citing all these articles for you. Survival mode was essential for our ancestors. Okay? And think that big bad saber-toothed tiger wants to eat me. Better grab my spear and get out of here. Right? Considering what they dealt with every day, our primitive hunting and gathering ancestors needed highly tuned survival instincts. And so, with a well-tuned fight or flight response is so critical to everyday survival, a big and strong fear center, amygdala, was how they adapted to that. The problem is that thousands of years later, we're still wired much like our ancient ancestors when it comes to that. Instead of saber-toothed tigers and mastodons in our daily day-to-day financial worries, relationship problems, and career unfulfillment, those are the things that trigger the fight or flight stress response for us today. Compounding the problem, each time we activate your life or death fear center in the amygdala, a chemical cocktail of hormones like cortisol get released, flooding our bodies with a bunch of these nasty little things. The neuroenvironment opens the door to an array of ugly physical, mental, and emotional disease, especially depression. Clearly, while our caveman ancestors needed their survival mode activated on a daily basis, we don't. That's what then The very best way to cool an overheated amygdala and, in effect, dismantle depression is meditation. Now check out my other videos on the meditation series. Right? In 2012, a team of esteemed Harvard neuroscientists examined the brain's freshly minted meditation practitioners before and after an 8-week mindfulness class. And they found that their depression center in the amygdala had actually managed to shrink in size while also being far less electrically active. In other words, faster than a light switch in your living room. Right? Meditation turns off perhaps the most critical brain region involved in depression. The implications of this monumental study research far and wide, not only for depression sufferers, but for many other disorders such as anxiety, bipolar, OCD, PTSD, and other like things and diseases linked to depression. For anyone drowning in a sea of depression, meditation is the world's best lifesaver. And it's free. And you might go ahead and poke around in that mind of yours. Maybe you'll find something useful. So, once again, meditation. Get it done. I got a video on beginner meditation on this channel. Go ahead and check that out. It'll teach you a little bit about that. I'm putting together the evidence here, which is what I've been doing for quite some time now. So, check that video out and get started with the meditations so you can overcome these issues. I'm not a doctor, nor do I want to be. I don't have a piece of paper that says I'm special. I'm just special. Okay? So, talk to your doctor if you're taking medication, if you're seeing a psychiatrist for the professional practice reasons. Then talk to them about doing some meditation, integrating meditation into your routine, because most of the medications that are out there do no better than the placebo effect. Go check out Dr. Joe Dispenza's book on You Are the Placebo and find out exactly what's going on with that, okay? So, I am Nolen-John Zander. I am done with this one. So, check out my channel, check out my website, and hit that like button. And you will see me on the next video.